The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts,
Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
Here we are, getting closer and closer to the start of the NFL season. It is Thursday in 1 week.
It's kicking off, man.
SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Rams, Bills.
It's going to be a good one.
Last year's Super Bowl champions against this year's Super Bowl champion.
That's you calling it out like that.
Barry Church.
Josh Allen.
That's right. Right
sound
here.
like me out here making a prediction.
On the Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos, Barry Church, Newy Scruggs is going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
To represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Let's ride.
Buffalo Bills.
Talk about let's ride. Did you see the deal he just signed? Young Russell.
Russell Wilson, okay, if you're Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson is the exact guy you want to be. That's what you want to be. Yeah. In terms of negotiating the contracts in these 4-year increments, that's what you want. Russell's continuing to cash.
Yeah, and if he plays his cards right, all health considered, he might be able to cash in for a third time after this one, which is remarkable. I mean, that guy, was he a fourth round pick? Third round pick? Third round pick.
Because of the height. He ain't taller than me.
Yeah,
because of the height factor. But yes, okay, Russell's getting another bite of the apple.
Bag,
and that's what's going to happen for Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Hope you able to hit that thing
just
again.
so fans understand. It's a 4-year deal, Dak signed a 4-year extension. You never get to the 4th year of the deal if a team wants you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a makeup number.
They're gonna keep re-upping you.
The 4th year is a makeup number. What they're gonna do is by year 3, they're gonna go negotiate it because you the player don't want to have 1 year left on your deal playing on it. So they're going to, and the cap number is gonna be high enough that they're gonna, as a quarterback, so high they're trying to renegotiate it, make it work from there. So $165 million in guarantees for Russell Wilson. So he's now number 2 in the league behind Deshaun Watson, who's got $230 million guaranteed. Kyler Murray, $189.5 million guaranteed. So 5 years, $245 million contract extension for Big Russ, $165 million guaranteed. I do want to know, did he get to have the Let's Ride trademark?
He gotta have it now. I mean, you give him a bag like that, you just say, you know what, Russell, that was your thing coming in. You gotta get the trademark.
Well,
for
that's something that the Broncos are trying to go.
Oh, I thought he was trying, and the Broncos. I thought
they're both trying to do it, apparently.
Oh man, well,
so
you gotta give it to Russell.
I would hope he negotiated in there. I would hope he negotiated in there, but the Broncos are using it as Let's Ride on their video jumbotron. And Russell's. So there's apparently, I was told by a media member, his team was apparently in a discussion about trying to trademark it, but then the team was as well. So I don't know where it's going to end up at.
We'll see.
But so for anyone that talks about the Cowboys and where they're at the salary cap, understand at some point in time, very soon, you're going to have to renegotiate Dak Prescott. And when you think about where it's going here for the Cowboys after this season. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, got to read him up.
Trayvon Diggs.
Because he's a second rounder, so he only had 4 years. He don't got a 5th year option. So you got to get him in there.
The next year after that, you've got Micah Parsons.
And he about to get the super bag.
And this is where you've got to look into Dak Prescott's deal.
Yeah, you got
after that. So this is. And when people you talk about, the Cowboys they've got such before camp. What did Chris before camp like $22 million? The Cowboys were under the cap or whatnot, and people are like hey, this money, go spend this money. They've got this thing earmarked for people.
Yeah, you got to save up.
They're gonna have to figure out where do we take it. Dalton Schultz.
He's playing on the franchise this year.
But that's almost $11 million. Yeah. And that $11 million, you have to have it within the cap. So by Dalton Schultz not signing a long-term deal, so let's say they could have given him maybe say $8 or $9 million in a guarantee up front. That's money you could save as you're trying to negotiate contracts. You get to trick the book a little bit.
Manipulate the numbers.
But when you don't, you got to put all that, boom, here's almost $11 million straight right here for Dalton Schultz. And that's another question the Cowboys have after this season.
They're going to have to. I mean, because like you said, you got the Dalton Schultz. And it's not like these are just average players out here. These are your franchise players that you're going to have to pay in some sort of fashion. So, like you said, the book's coming up on these guys ASAP. You got Dak. Diggs, Parsons coming around the corner. So, and then you got a couple auxiliary pieces here and there that you may need to break some bread off too as well.
You were one of those starters.
Yeah.
Where the Cowboys look at, hey, this is a player, we like the player, but when we look at all the players we have to pay,
it's a priority list.
Priority list. And then, as in your situation, Dalton Schultz, I can see the same thing happening for Dalton Schultz. Here's Jacksonville with a whole lot of money.
And then Dalton Schultz will be a fool to pass it up.
And to the point of, hey, look, not only are they going to pay you, but they're going to pay you significantly more than the Cowboys because they have to.
Yes, that's what the market dictates. So you would be Dalton Schultz, if he doesn't take that big money from somewhere else, he would be a fool to stick around here. I mean, it's simple as that.
And the Cowboys are in a situation, and it's very much so, where Stephen Jones said, we like Dalton Schultz. We tried to keep him. But they tried to keep him at their number, which you've been at.
Oh yeah, I've been there. They hit you with the low ball, saying, this is the Cowboys. You're coming back to this franchise. And that's all well and good. But you know what the NFL stands for? Not for long. So you got to go ahead and get the bag while you can, and hopefully Dalton Schultz falls in those footsteps. Because like you said, all those players that need to be paid in the future, they're gonna prioritize them above a Dalton Schultz. So you gotta look out for yourself. Go out there and have a hell of a season this year, and then when next year comes around, go chase the bag.
Look, Dalton Schultz, in my opinion, the way I look at this team right now, do not be surprised if Dalton Schultz is in the Pro Bowl right now. The way we're looking, we haven't seen the first game where Kellen Moore rolls out what they're going to do, but I would suspect Dalton Schultz being a top 5 receiver when it comes to just catches
and targets alone. Because if you look at it, outside of CeeDee Lamb, who's your bona fide number 1, the rest of these guys are unproven talent. Even when a James Washington comes back, you still got a lot of young guys that really don't have that same rapport like Dalton Schultz has with Dak Prescott. So I feel like if, CeeDee's going to be the number 1 targeted guy, it has to be Schultz right behind him. So you're saying what, maybe 100 catches, maybe 1,000 yards? I mean, he's going to be one of those top receiving tight ends in the league this year, simple fact, because he's going to be the number 2 target, and they're going to have to get the ball. Because like you mentioned last episode, teams are going to double team CeeDee, and they're going to say, all right, the rest of y'all going to have to beat man-to-man coverage. And if Dalton Schultz is able to do that consistently, he should have a hell of a season.
And you start to think about the Pro Bowls and Pro Bowl tight ends. So, it's NFC, AFC. So you've got Kelsey, who's
everybody's
over in Kansas
on that
City.
side.
Right.
Yeah.
Darren Waller is over here. And so, and Gronk is retired.
Yeah.
So
only one you got to deal with is Kittle. That's pretty much it.
And, poor George, you can't write 17 down for George.
No.
I know. I had him in fantasy.
You can't
Don't
write
do that.
7.
Don't do that.
And then he's also dealing with a rookie, or not a rookie quarterback, but a young quarterback in there trying to find his way. So
the opportunity for him to be a Pro Bowl tight end, to be one of 2, 3 selected,
it's there.
It is there for Dalton Schultz.
Not a doubt.
And after the season, it's going to get to the point where he's got a Pro Bowl. He should have a Pro Bowl resume and production. And it would not surprise me if the Cowboys said, Dalton, here's the number again. This is the best we can do. Yeah. And Dalton Schultz say, you know what? I want an Njoku contract.
And that's what, and he, if he does what we both think he'll be able to do, I mean, that's all within his right to go out there and chase that bag. Because
I want a Kelsey contract. Yeah. And then there'll be a team who's got a quarterback that they say, you know what? We need to give our quarterback a blanket.
He is a damn good security blanket. I don't think he's the most dynamic guy out there. Like, I don't think you can, and we'll see, time will tell, but I don't think you can just flex him out there and let him beat anybody. But as far as a security blanket, understanding how defenses work in zone coverages and being able to sit down in that zone and present yourself to your quarterback, he does an excellent job at that. He is a bona fide security blanket, somewhat like an Witten-esque. I ain't gonna say he's as good as Witten, but he's Witten-esque when it comes to that regard.
Right. And there's not a bunch of Kyle Pittses running around there.
No.
There's just not. And that's the other thing I think people say, well, is he that kind of guy? Well, I'm sorry. At the tight end position, there are not many of that kind of guy. But it starts to come down into who are you paying? And after this season, depending on what Tyler Smith does at left tackle, they're going to have to ask themselves, how do we address the position? Do we just say he's fine right there? And, oh, by the way, Connor McGovern's a free agent.
Yeah, and depending on the season he may have. they may want to, hey, this guy, he figured it out. He got the wheels turning, and he was able to perform well at the guard position.
And if not, do you go out on this market and get somebody? Do you put in a draft pick? So the Cowboy offensive line right now, you start to think about you think about decisions that are going to have to be made and where you're spending dollars at. Will McClay and Stephen Jones are going to have a chore after this season to figure out roster construction and what they do. So this is going to be a really interesting year for a lot of players and what they decide to do.
Let me ask you this. Is Terrence Taylor was undrafted, correct? Mm-hmm. And so he's going into his third year, right? So this will be three years. So this will be up. One of was last year.
It's going to come into another situation. What do you do now? I'll say this: there are going to be certain times where they say, "Hey, look, let's franchise this particular player."
Yeah.
For instance, you may want to franchise Tony Pollard after the season. Running backs are not getting great numbers, so it's not like trying to franchise. You try to franchise defensive end, that's $20 million.
Yeah, that's off the books real quick.
Right. So but so almost $11 million for Dalton Schultz. Okay, we can do that. Mm-hmm. So if it's that number, Chris Beam, our producer, check on what the running back number is on a franchise. But they could conceivably do that. So
they could.
I mean, there's so many interesting situations the Cowboys can go after this season when it comes in terms of looking at the team, money, who you pay, where do you go in the draft? Have you drafted and developed guys that can get ready to roll? I mean, that to me is the fascinating part about having a young football team. By the way, Cowboys are the third youngest football team.
When you sent that in the group chat, I was like, man. And then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, man, they are extreme. When Dak Prescott, he just turned 29, is one of your elder statement out there. I mean, that's a young football team, overall. And defensively, they're extremely young on that side. So these guys can be good for years to come if they're able to keep this nucleus together.
I remember the conversation from head coach Mike McCarthy. It was either the first or second day, but I want to say it was the first day when he met with the media and he said, the youth of our football team is going to have an impact. And he spoke about how early in the year these kids are going to have an impact, meaning in some ways, because the way he said it, I thought he kind of covered himself in terms of, hey, guys, we're going to play some young people here.
So get ready for some early bumps in the road.
Right. Yeah. There could be some issues. Mm-hmm. But you got to play them early enough and then hope, they improve during the year. So I thought Mike said that in a way that, hey, pay attention to what he's saying.
Yeah.
Pay attention. He's not trying to give you an excuse, but he's trying to tell you this is what happens when you have young players. To Mike's credit, he comes from Green Bay, where that's what the philosophy they had with Ted Thompson as the general manager, and he was coaching. They played a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
And so, as you're seeing right now, there's going to be a bunch of young guys out here.
There's going to be a lot of young guys, and that makes me nervous for McCarthy. I mean, because like this isn't like, he got some leeway. I don't believe he has a lot of leeway. I think this year may be his year to either prove that he can be the leader of this team and make a long whatever it is, whatever success is, whatever we see success is. This is his year where he got to prove that he can be that for the Dallas Cowboys.
If we're asking the fair question, okay, this is a philosophy that's been embraced by the Joneses.
Yeah.
So if Jerry and Steven have embraced the philosophy that,
playing the young players or
young players, drafting guys,
developing,
working with these guys, and trying to figure, hey, we're it's like the 80-20 rule. 20% of you guys making 80% of the money. So if that's going to be the case where you're paying these people here, that means you got to draft and develop guys. So don't you have to have the patience for it? Don't you have to bake that in if you're trying to be fair in how you evaluate the coach?
You would believe so. You would think that, that has to be a part of it. You're developing these young guys. The whole philosophy here is we like to build within and develop young guys and get them a chance to earn starting jobs and all that good stuff. You believe that would be the philosophy, to have patience with your head coach. But do we believe if this team doesn't make the playoffs at all, they're going to have the patience to keep Mike McCarthy around?
You and I and Danny talked about this on the Players Lounge many a time. We expected Tyron to miss 4 games.
Yeah, he's penciled in.
So now it's happened. Is that used against Mike McCarthy if this team doesn't make the playoffs or they don't end up in a long playoff run? If you're a guy who's an all-decade player that Jerry, Stephen Jones, thinking he was going to be okay, and he wasn't?
So who does that fall on as far as the backup plan for that situation? Does it fall on McCarthy or does it fall on upper management, that they didn't have a good backup plan, a solid backup plan for when Tyron went down.
This is the beauty of being the owner. You get to decide.
It ain't me. It's y'all.
Literally, you get to decide.
Yeah.
Jerry's the same guy that got to decide and say, you know what, 3 8-8 seasons from Jason Garrett's okay. He can stay. It's okay. You know, that's what you get to do. Whereas here's Lovie Smith, who ends up winning 10 games and missing the playoffs with a 10-6 record, and the Bears saying you're fired.
You're not good enough. Yeah.
So you don't know. That's the thing is you never know what is the tolerance level, and then of course, like anything, you can fire whoever you want. Who do you replace them with? I constantly talk to fans about that. Yeah. And be like, Sean Payton. Like, I don't know if you do as many of these radio interviews nationally as I do, but people keep trying to just
pencil in Sean Payton.
Right.
And you taught me about this, where if you bring in a Sean Payton, are you willing to give the keys up? And that's the whole thing. Like, I can see Jerry saying, all right, I'm good. You got the keys. But is Steven going to be okay with that?
It's 3 levels of Sean Payton. The first level, you have to compensate the Saints.
That's one.
Okay? He left. He was still under contract when he left. So you got to compensate them. If I'm the Saints, I want a 1.
Yeah.
Minimum. If I'm the Saints, I want a 1. So that's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, you have to compensate him. The rumors when Miami got fined recently, the conversation was $10 to $12 million a year for Sean Payton to go coach the Dolphins. They were going to get Sean Payton and Tom Brady.
Does that count against the cap, or is it just okay? Right.
It doesn't count, but still, people aren't trying to pay it.
Yeah, that's high. That's hefty.
Right.
That's hefty.
It's a reason why. That's a reason why you don't see a lot of people making that. So that's 2 levels.
Yeah.
Level number 3, he wants to run things. He wants some control.
And like I said, I can see Jerry saying okay. But Steven, I mean, I feel like, and I could be completely wrong with this, but I feel like, when it comes to decision making, I feel like Steven is becoming that role where he's yes or no guy. He's the one that's saying yes or no. Does he want to give up the keys when he just got the keys?
He's got say. He's got juice.
Yes.
He's at the table. He's at the decision making table.
Does he want to give up that juice, or at least a portion of that juice?
Now,
I don't know.
So when I've done those same interviews with people, I said I present them those 3 levels. And I said, now, if you're saying you don't want Mike McCarthy and you're looking behind that next door and you open up the Sean Payton door, those are 3 levels. You've also got Dan Quinn sitting there, who Jerry likes, and Jerry paid to stay.
And the players love.
You don't have to compensate the Saints.
Nope.
You don't have to give them $15 million.
Nah, I would say no.
You don't have to give them control. Which option do you think a man who's created the most valuable sports franchise in the world is going to make?
Yeah, we already know what that decision is.
How do you stay a billionaire?
We already know what that decision is going to be.
Right. And
they'll go with DQ.
And you played here and you've been a part of change. They like to keep continuity.
Yeah.
When they have continuity, they like.
They love it. I mean, like you said, we saw the whole Jason Garrett era went down. 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, made it playoffs here and there. They love to keep it in-house, and they love to keep developing from the inside. Whether it's coaches, whether it's players, they love that philosophy. So I can see a scenario where if it came down to those 2 guys, they would choose option B, which would be Dan Quinn. Because like you said, to me personally, I just cannot see Steven or Jerry saying, okay, you know what? Here, Sean Payton, it's your franchise now. You make all the decisions regarding anything that goes on. To me, that's hard-pressed to believe.
And I'll come back into this one. Mike McCarthy, according to Stephen Jones, has not gotten a fair shake from people like me in the media. He said, man, you guys are too hard on him.
But because you can't, I mean, you got to criticize him on something. He doesn't call the plays defensively. He doesn't call the plays offensively. So what is he in charge of? Game management and making sure this team is accountable and disciplined. And what have we seen these past 2 years?
Okay,
that's not a checked box.
You won 12 games last year.
You did.
How many times in this franchise's history have they won 12 games? You look at the last 20 years, how many times have they won 12 games?
It's been a handful, just a handful.
Okay,
yeah.
Exactly. Handful. So it's not happening. It's not happening every day around here.
Yeah.
Okay? It just doesn't happen every day. Now, and I'll give this other one for Mike McCarthy. And David Moore, the Dallas Morning News, had said this to me. It was really good. He says, a part of the problem for Mike McCarthy is he's now locked into the disappointment. And every year the Cowboy fan has disappointment, so now it's 26 years since you last won it, you pay for it. It's like you're paying for the sins of not winning and not meeting the standard, and you can get to the point in time where you start getting mad at people who won 12 games? Is that really what we want to do?
When you look at it, though, I mean, defensively, where was this team? They were a top 10, 15 defense. Offensively, I think they were number one when it comes to yards and points and all that. So when it came down to the playoffs, what bit this team in the butt? Penalties and game management.
Sure. You're right. I would caution you to look at the Chicago Bears, who got rid of Lovie Smith after he went 10-6. They're still looking for 10. They ain't sniffed 10-6. Remember the Lions? Oh, 9-7. That's not good enough. Okay, so Bob Quinn, the GM, go hire Matt. We need better than 9. Can't find 9. Can't find 8. Okay,
they were happy with what? 3 wins.
Okay, they living up here. You know, they're wishing there was an NFL lottery for the draft because they keep finishing top 5 and can't get to 1. So I would caution fans who have this drumbeat of, hey man, get rid of Mike McCarthy. Do you know what's behind door number 2, and are you sure you're truly going to make it better? Let's not. And people are like, man, you won half your games in the division. Okay. You won them, right?
That's the end of it. Do you W's or losses?
You know, last year the Ravens finished last in their division. So we're almost to the point in time where we discount the winning. I'm not excusing the penalties. I'm not excusing how bad they looked against the 49ers in that playoff. I'm not. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I am more than willing to say this man deserves the opportunity to go out here and get another shot. And if it doesn't go his way, are you going to go out here and blame and put it all on him because 77 was gone?
So you have to say basically if you're critical of him on the losses, then you got to give him some credit when it comes to these W's. And I understand that. I can see that way.
Let's talk draft and development. Okay, first off, and I'll give this is one I didn't know, and I'll give Stephen Jones credit on. Stephen told me, he says Mike is the one that went and got Dan Quinn. I said, I thought it was you guys. He said, no, it was Mike.
Okay. So he gets credit for that. Okay. Because Dan Quinn, to me, was the biggest, and Daniel be attested to this, he was the biggest free agent acquisition.
Right. So you brought in Dan Quinn, and you listened to him, and you let him do his thing. Mm-hmm. You know, some of these coaches, and you've been a part of it, some of these coaches, they micromanage it to death.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
So he let Dan Quinn come in here, do what he wanted to do. They get Micah Parsons, there was a plan. They get JK, Curse out here. They had a plan. Heavy
draft was defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's an offensive head coach who's like, fine, let's go defense. Mm-hmm. They talked about getting bigger and better. I mean, on the defensive front, they did the things that he said he wanted done. Yeah. We got to give him the credit there.
Yeah, you do.
And you start to think about, here's Trevon Diggs, develops into a all-pro player. Micah Parsons, you drafted, all-pro player.
My only thing is, but was he also the guy that brought in Mike Nolan?
Correct. Now, you are correct, sir, 100%. And I was down on him for that.
Okay? Yeah. I remember you calling out on that.
So down on him.
Calling him out on
that. They gave him the opportunity to fix it.
And he did.
And he fixed it.
He did. So you got to give him credit. He fixed it. He fixed that mistake.
They talked about a mulligan. Okay.
And he turned that mulligan into 12. It was a disappointing loss, but he turned it into 12.
You turned the mulligan into the strength of the football team.
Well, yeah.
So I say this not trying to be the super apologist, but trying to say, let's also be fair. Let's look at this other side, because we've criticized so much about one side, and that's where Stephen was talking about. Like, hey man, let's look over here. Now, there's some things that I would say, and I said it on Tuesday. Why didn't you have a better plan for Tyler Smith? If you planned on him going out here to left tackle, why wasn't this young man
out there?
And why wasn't he at the practices against the Chargers at left tackle, the Broncos at left tackle, and spending some time at camp? Why? That is a legitimate criticism.
Yeah, and I felt like, with the whole decision-making process, they had their plan A, B, and C. And I think they're on plan C right now. But you would think, because, A, maybe it was Josh Ball. He showed you he just ain't the answer. The jury's still out on Matt Waletzko out there. I think that was plan B. C was, all right, we're going to have to kick Tyler Smith out there. But if that's the case, if he's even remotely in the conversation for being a backup plan, you're going to have to get this guy over there at tackle at some point. Let him get some reps with the threes or something at the tackle position, just so it's not, and I understand he played it in college, but NFL in college, Tulsa in college, or Tulsa in the NFL, they're two different worlds.
Buddy Ryan saying, East Carolina.
You ain't playing no East Carolina, so You got to get my man a little bit of reps out there. And he had the perfect opportunity with those combined practices, like you mentioned, to just at least get some one-on-ones at tackle.
Shout out to the Pirates, by the way. Several of my boys play for the Pirates.
East Carolina?
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Dwayne Harris out there, man.
East Carolina, one of the East Carolina greats. Hey, let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll talk about a potential left tackle that they tried out. Let's do that. Let's do that.
I know you're talking about Mr. Achilles out here.
Barry Church, Newey Scruggs Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and your favorite football team. Get yours today in the Stadium Pro Shop or at Stetson.com.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus!
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down. Based on GWS One score, September 2019.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
So, you're shopping, and that's when you see it. Aisle 23. Dr. Pepper stacked from top to bottom as far as the eye can see. The phrase too good to be true comes to mind, yet there it is. A rich, delicious Dr. Pepper paradise. Wait, did that can of Dr. Pepper just open itself for you? They all are. As if to say, so nice to treat you. And even though it feels weird to talk to a can, you pick one up and say, it's so nice to be treated. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Here we are, Players Lounge. Newey Scruggs, Barry Church, Danny McCray with the day off. So,
What's the deal, man? What is the deal?
Jason Peters. Cowboys are on the practice field right now. We are at the Star. We are at the Star here. And
I understand. Look, last year, Peters played 15 games for the Chicago Bears. You know, everybody. I didn't watch anything on him, but everybody's saying he performed well when it came to the pass and the run blocking and all that stuff. To me, he's close. He's either 40 or he's getting up to 40. He's had some Achilles issues in the past. Do we really want to go down that road again? Is this going to be another, Tyron Smith type issue where, he only gives you maybe 10? Then we're in the same predicament that we were in now.
You're a young man. But Chris, you'll remember this. Chris, you'll remember. Back in the day, a guy named Larry Holmes. Heavyweight champion. He followed Muhammad Ali. Was a heavyweight champion for 10 years. Guys in boxing can hang around too long. Larry Holmes hung around too long, but he wanted to get one of them big paydays to fight Mike Tyson.
No, he ain't got. Yeah.
When Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson.
Yeesh.
And then Tupac ended up making a song in the Machiavelli album. He wrote a bar about Larry Holmes. He said, "Looking like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick."
Damn. And that's the thing. I'm like,
you saw the pictures of Jason Peters in the Bears outfit.
Man.
That's Larry Holmes. You got Larry Holmes out here.
Come on, man.
You got Larry. Look at Larry Holmes.
And it ain't like he coming here for free. But you're going to have to pay the man a little bit.
No, you don't.
You're going to have to pay him a little bit
you don't.
if you want him to be the starting left tackle.
I don't know if you're going to make him the starting left tackle. First off, I would not bring him in here with no guaranteed starting left tackle.
You think he's going to sign here with no
What?
guarantees?
You can put in some incentives. Hey, if you start X amount of games, you may get yourself a bump. But I'm not sitting right here paying him no starting tackle.
He's a vet player now.
He played on the minimum last year for the Bears, just letting you know.
Oh, he played on a minimum last year?
Yes, he did.
Did you see,
Man.
And if you had Justin Fields on your fantasy team, you notice he had a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah.
Look out!
So we're going to be in the same type of predicament.
Nah, look. This is what I'm going to say. I can understand it. and you could sign him. He's a veteran. Help Smith learn some things. That's fine. But for the people thinking, oh, here's Jason Peters.
No, he ain't the answer.
You plugging him in here, and that's going to be the guy. I don't know if I would be. I don't know yet. I don't know.
No, he's not the guy. And if you're bringing him in here just to teach him, to give him a few pointers, can't Tyron Smith do that from the sideline? Give the guy some pointers.
Tyron got some stuff he need to worry about himself.
I mean, Peters played more than Tyron last year, if you really want to look at it.
He gave him 15.
I mean, how many did Tyron give us? 13?
13.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but Tyron was on the team. They won 13. I mean, the Bears weren't good. The coach got fired, man.
They weren't good last year.
So he probably took the last game off. So that's one game, right? He's like, I'm not playing the last game. I'm sorry.
The Eagles let him go for a reason, okay?
The tires are weathered on that.
He's
on
40.
Him, that's what I'm saying.
40.
You just got to be other options.
Hey, man, it's Shaquille Barrett week 1. And right now, the options aren't pretty. Let's just be honest, man.
No, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of great options out
Rookie
there.
out here who hadn't done it. Dude who's 40 out here trying to.
But if he's your future, would you just say, you know what? Let's throw him in the fire.
But you haven't put him in the position.
Oh, yeah, they're doing him a disservice. I'm with you on that. They're doing him a disservice.
That's my issue.
Yeah, they're doing him a disservice.
Micah Parsons last year, they had a plan for him at camp, and they worked it, and they kept giving him stuff. Like, hey, here you go. When Tyron got here, man, he was playing right tackle. They put him out there. He was going up against where they were like, hey, man, we're getting you ready to go.
To be that guy.
Even when after Kellen got hurt and Romo got hurt, you saw him spending all that time with Dak. What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's Garrett after practice working. We're getting you ready to go. And he's played in the preseason games, and they didn't do that.
They didn't.
And
that's the disservice.
That's my frustration. And so I ended up asking, could this hurt McCarthy at the end if the Cowboys don't have the kind of year that they want? But I'll say this right now, and talking to several local media people, there's several folks who've got the Cowboys winning 10-plus games.
10-plus?
Oh, yeah.
10-7 don't sound too outlandish to me, but when you start getting into the 11 and 12 realm, I'm like, that means you got to be. That means you're winning outside of the division games as well. And
I know 2 media people have got them winning 11. I know 1 media person's got winning 10.
Even with the injuries and all that stuff we just talked about, they still got them up there.
Hey, I'm just saying. There are people out here who believe that Tyron's injuries, the train's still going to keep rolling. So
even after history shows that if Tyron Smith misses games, it ain't like this offense keeps on the train that is going. It ain't like the production just staying right there. They still got them boys winning, 12, 10-plus games. That's a shocker, man. That's a shocker.
Some people on that narcotic.
Yeah, I was one of them a couple years ago, giving that blue Kool-Aid. I was on it.
Can't put it down.
I was on it. Dak went down. It's okay. We got Andy Dalton. I was on it, and yeah, it didn't work out for me in that situation. So
there you go. There's some people that are, so it's an interesting mix. So what they decide, if they bring him in, I won't blame them. I can understand it, but just what you're expecting, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think he can. Oh, he's the answer now. We're good. Nah.
He's not all decade Jason Peters.
Nah, he ain't the Peters from 2015 or 20. He ain't that Peters.
As much as we love Tyron, he's not the same all decade guy.
He ain't 20.
Jason Peters is 40, so temperate on the streets for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on the streets for a reason.
I mean, nobody ever fell back into the Whitworth conversation. You ain't heard nothing about, maybe we grab him. Maybe, okay.
Now,
it'll cost a little bit.
The thing is that he was still under contract with the Rams, so you have to make a deal.
Okay, you would have to compensate them.
Yeah,
okay, and Chris, how about this one? He was hurt last year, too.
Yeah,
they had former TCU kid Noteboom out there playing left tackle. So this is a guy who was hurt last year. You come back, you win the Super Bowl. Brother, what you coming back for?
Oh, if I'm in, I'm good. Right. Don't even call my phone.
Right, you're 40, and you've retired, so that retirement year.
Man, once you get a year under your belt after you
or that first offseason,
man, you ain't trying to go back.
You're not doing all that work you used to do.
You can start swinging the clubs. So you eating what you want to eat.
So your body is not. So this man's body is not there.
No.
I said, Whitworth. Oh yeah, no. This man is still not getting up, hitting the gym, and going to work it out. Especially his alignment. No.
You get that free time, especially if your kids is in school. You drop them off. You're like, oh man, I got hours.
Right. He's got kids. So man, no. So that whole Whitworth thing is guys have to want to play. Peters has spoken about, hey, I'd like to give it one more ride. So I would assume, and I don't know, I hadn't seen it, but I would assume he was still doing the things to keep himself.
Yeah, if you still want to go out there and give it another go, I mean, you're not out there, swinging the clubs and, just relaxing, eating what you want to. Obviously, he still had plans that maybe I have another shot, just one more shot. So maybe he was training all the way up to this point, waiting until the regular season started. I have no idea.
We got to hit a break here, but go Google Jason Peters and see him in that Bears uniform.
I seen it on tape. You can see it on tape from the All-22. You know how far away the All-22 is. If you can see them things overlapping, I mean, it ain't. Let's just say it ain't Tyron Smith. It ain't Tyron Smith, but not too many people got that.
Okay. Cowboys carrying 5 safeties on the roster. We'll talk to you about that. And another big topic of conversation happened yesterday. Let's dive into that. Barry Church. I'm Newey Scruggs. Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to...
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down, based on GWS One score September 2019.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Here we are, Players Lounge. Minus Danny McCray. Danny McCray is out enjoying the Labor Day holiday. We'll see him next week sometime.
Sometime I believe Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Thursday?
Yeah, because Monday, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the show's changing, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, find Players Lounge on Spotify, wherever you find your podcast at. We're there.
Listen,
okay, give us a listen, like it. We need to get our numbers up.
Smash
so more of
the
you.
like button.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Yes, please. Heckma Harrison is going to join the show.
Yeah, old Heckma.
Yes. So,
former, what was it, UNT? He was a UNT linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Heckma. Gonna get some insight from him.
So he was at K-State. From K-State, went over to UNT.
Yeah.
And so he's joined the show. So is Jesse Holly okay with that, Chris, that Heckma's leaving?
He wasn't on Jesse's show.
It was Isaiah. So
I think Isaiah's okay with that.
There hasn't been an official announcement, so thanks, Newey.
It's okay. That's what I'm doing. I'm announcing it here. So,
breaking news, baby.
Hey, we'll see how. It's a good test to see how many people are watching.
It is, man.
So we're gonna add to the show. Baby. Add to the show
There
here.
You go.
As many times that people go on vacation, we need an extra body on this show.
You ain't lying, CV. You ain't lying. I've been an only mainstay here,
a couple times I was like, "Hey, church, you want to do it by yourself?" You're like, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, I'm the only mainstay here, man. So
Next thing you know, we have a co-sponsor, Sandals Resort.
The only consistent person on this show was me, guys.
You right, man. I was second. I was a close second behind behind CB.
Close second,
man. We all know Danny. He man talking about perfect attendance. He ain't coming in. But anyways.
And Newey's got every other Friday, right? Newey?
Hey, look, I'm in school. So
yeah,
I have a legitimate excuse.
I'll give you what you got to do, man.
I am in school.
You gotta do
my last year, too.
Follow your dreams.
Last year. No, I'm trying. When I get fired from my other job, I got to have some security. That's what I'm trying to do.
Smart man.
So I need some money. I need some school money. Speaking of money, go and open the wallet.
Man,
go
you
and open
make
up
me
the wallet.
go ahead and tap into this leather right
go
here,
on
man.
And open up that big shot card bank.
Man, you know what? This is bringing me pain right now.
This is golf. It's the golf money anyway. You're not doing anything. You just give me golf money. So there was 2 bets that we made.
There was 2.
You lost both bets.
I did. But I brought half of it right here because I was thinking that because we heard what Mike McCarthy said, but it ain't official yet. It ain't official.
Mean? He said it yesterday.
He said, but I ain't see nothing yet. I ain't see nothing in the paperwork yet. So I ain't see it.
He said it.
McCarthy said some things before that wasn't what happened.
This is official.
This is Kelvin Joseph is official. Like a referee with a whistle.
Give my 20 for Kelvin Joseph, making the team.
It's a green fees, man. He's a green fees.
So the bucket of balls.
Man, that's cart fee right there.
He did say in his press conference 2 days ago that he doesn't see that the roster is official until after week 2.
See, there you go.
That's what he did say.
There you go.
But he did.
I have the right to massage the roster, and we'll look. I kind of look at the roster after week 2.
Put that 20 in that wallet quick.
He can massage it all day, but he came
I'm just saying what he said. I'm just saying.
Why we put. That's
Did
why
you
got
listen
20
to the press conference?
That's why you got 20 and not 40.
Look, man said Cooper Rush is the backup.
Hey, man, we done heard some things before.
The man said that.
We done heard some things.
Okay.
He also said.
Somebody tell me he didn't say it.
He also said he reserves the right to change his mind, just like Parcells said. So
right. So
it's up in the air.
And that'll be for some safeties or some O linemen. It's not going to be for the quarterback position.
We don't know. All right, we don't know yet. All right.
Brett, who'd you say he was a starter or the backup?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Will Greer.
Okay.
Yeah.
the practice squad guy.
Yeah, well, they're both practice squad
they both
guys.
From the practice squad.
So they can both get pulled for the second guy. You know that, right?
We already know Rush is the number 2.
When Sunday comes around, 8:30 Eastern, and you see 10 as a backup, all right, there it is. But until then, that 20 stays with me until then. But hey, the boss man fat. It's official like a referee with a whistle. Man.
Okay, so at least I got half.
You got boss man.
Okay, I got some gas money.
Boss man fat made the roster.
He did.
Got some gas money here.
As the 4th best corners or 5th best now.
5 safeties on the roster. You good with that?
I think you had to, man. I think you had to. I mean, you know, that was the first time I believe. I'm not 100% on this, but it might be since my rookie year that they had 5 on the roster. But if you look at it, man, you got to keep through the 3 at the top: Donovan Wilson, Hooker, and Kirsch. You got to keep those 3. But the 2 guys that they also kept on there, Bell and Mukwamu, I think you had to, but just because of the position flex that both of those guys, possess. And you look, especially Mukwamu, you look at him. This is a guy, he could play free safety. We saw him get an interception in a preseason game at the nickelback position. He's a converted corner, so you can play him outside if need be. It's just a jack of all trades, and the more you can do, the better you are. So you got to keep that guy in there just for position flex. And the same with Bell. He can play that strong safety. He can play that walk-down linebacker role, the same as Kurtz does for this team. So I think you had to keep both of those guys. Now, the safety room is extremely deep. I think it's one of the deepest rooms in the National Football League when you talk about the Dallas Cowboys safety room. So it'll give both of those guys time to develop and become key contributors to the defense. But that's a loaded group right there, and I think you had to keep those guys.
I look at this, and I don't think sometimes fans still understand. There's 17 games.
It's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games. Mm-hmm. And you've got 8 quarterbacks on the schedule who've been to the Pro Bowl.
They can dice you up at any time.
6 quarterbacks who've started a Super Bowl. 3 quarterbacks who've won a regular season MVP.
You got to be deep.
They're throwing. You got folks who sling it, okay?
And you know the old saying, you can never have as many, rushmen as you need. Like you can never have as many covermen as you need. So I think they went deep at the right position. Like you said, cornerback. I think they went, six deep at corner, I believe. So you got to be deep in the secondary. You got to be deep in the defensive line room. And that's what they decided to do. They had to do it.
So you got 2 guys who are going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the schedule this year. You got Tom Brady, you got Aaron Rodgers. Matt Ryan has won an MVP. He's on a much better football team.
Yes.
Where he's not going to have to do the work with an excellent offensive line.
Running game is going to be outstanding.
You've got Matt Stafford. You got to go to the Rams' house this year. I mean, there's some really good quarterbacks who can throw the football
Joe Burrow,
here. Joe Burrow, and that's that core they've got. That's coming at you week 2. So the safety position has changed.
Yes.
And you're playing a lot more nickel and dime than ever in this league. And you and I know they have not legislated these rules to help defenders.
Not at all. I mean, the wildest rule to me is a defender, if he tries to protect himself and cut an offensive lineman coming around the corner at him, he gets a penalty flag. But it's all good when offensive guys can come through and cut this guy. Oh, that's just a part of the game. Come on, man. You got a big 300-pounder coming at you. You just supposed to let him flat roll you? I mean, you got to protect yourself somehow. I mean, cut him low. Cut him low, man, but that's a penalty now. So, but it's an offensive game. It's an offensive game, and they want as many points scored as possible. So, if you're going to manufacture it to the way that, the offenses can succeed, and, I just feel sorry for those defenders nowadays, man, because you get fined and flagged for anything in the game nowadays. So, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we're disciplined enough not to have too many crazy penalties out there, but we'll see.
So, these Cowboys safeties under Joe Witt and Dan Quinn, they've done a good job of developing them.
Yes.
And that's another fear that, and I know we're way away from, but that's another fear to me if Dan Quinn takes another job, is you're going to lose him. He's going to bring coaches with him, and he's going to most likely try to bring some players that he can with him who are available. So there's what they have right now in this Cowboy defense, which, by the way, is going to have to win games this year.
It's the strength of the team, right? Especially early on. I mean, they're gonna be counted on as being that team or being that unit and that side of the ball that's going to have to carry these guys this offensively until they find their identity. And so there's going to be pressure on Dan Quinn. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, can you take the football away in back-to-back years like you did last year? Can you take the football away just as good? And, history tells, last team to do that was, 85, 86 Bears. So it's going to be tough.
What's the number? When you face Tampa Bay, what's the point number in your mind? If you go to the defense, like what is it? Is it 25? Like, what do you need from your defense? Like,
you got to hold them. You got to hold them under 24. I think you got to hold them to at least under 24 to have a shot. Because I just don't see offensively us being as dynamic and having that identity to where, okay, we can put up points. Last year, this offense was dynamic when it came to the outside. They can throw it.
It was 30. It was 30. It was a 30-point offense.
Yeah, they can go and give you 30 easy. Now, a lot of pressure is on Dak to elevate these young receivers and these young playmakers. So, I think you got to hold them to 24. You got to.
You think they got 25 points in them on offense?
That's the name of the game, man. You're going to have to. They're going to have to put up at least 25. Because I just can't see I just can't see the defense shutting down Tom Brady and holding them to under, hold them to, let's just say hold them to 17. I can't see that happening. So offensively, you're going to have to. You're going to have to put up at least 24, 25 points. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially with this O-line and these young receivers out there, unproven.
And one thing we didn't speak about as we get ready to wrap up the show, and you talk about, scoring. Can Maher do his part? Last year against Tampa Bay,
we saw what it came down to. Was it 2 missed kicks?
It's 4 points.
4 points. A missed kick and a missed extra point, I think it was.
Yeah, it's 4 points, man.
And that's what it came down to.
So can he get the 4 that Legatron couldn't get?
That's what it's going to come down to.
Because this is going to be, to me right now, as you've lost talent, it's the margin of error has gotten slimmer.
Super small.
So you need Brett Maher to connect.
Yeah, and my real only fear is that this defense gets worn out early in this game. That's my biggest fear. I think if the defense has enough rest, I think they can match with Tampa Bay well. That's why you got to run. Because if you're 3 and out consistently and your defense just sits down and they hear in the background, punt ready, it's going to be a long afternoon, a real long afternoon. So offense, at the worst case scenario, at least hold the ball a little bit longer.
And finding some chunk yards.
Yeah,
if they're doubling CeeDee Lamb, is there a way you can get some chunk yards from Pollard? Maybe you're throwing Turpin out here. What do you do so you can? They've got to figure out this is league, but you need to get some chunk plays to sustain some drives, to move the ball down the field. Even if the drive stalls, that Brian Anger, your Pro Bowl punter, can pin him deep and make Brady and company have to go, 75, 80 yards. That's when I start to think about this football game and how you're trying to win it. with your defense, your offense has to play a part of this.
They got to, because they can, like you said, they can't wear them out too long, or else Tom Brady will start to pick these boys apart.
Hey, a week from tonight, we've got football.
Yes,
on
indeedy.
NBC. It's going to be the Bills and it's going to be the Rams in Inglewood, California. And then that Sunday night football is going to be here. I'm talking to Chris Collinsworth here in about 2 hours.
Okay. All right.
Your man Jason Garrett is doing media today for NBC.
Hey, JG, baby, let's go.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on that call.
Yeah, tell me how much you hate on it.
I do want to get on that call.
Tell him I got his notebook right here still, man. I still got it.
Look, I want to make sure, all right? I'm looking at that camera. I think Jason Garrett will be good on TV.
Okay. I know he'll be good. So we'll see. We'll see.
So if you're thinking of the Jason Garrett you saw at the podium,
he ain't gonna get
that's not him. That's not him.
Because Jason Garrett's he's a hell of a storyteller, and he'll be able to illustrate something to the audience, and he'll do it for sure. I know for sure he'll do a way better job than Breeze did.
Jason Garrett will be good.
Yeah,
I
agree.
So when you say that, you hate him. No, coaching wise, television broadcaster, I think he can be good. Yeah. TV is filled with guys who are mediocre coaches. Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
Lee Corso. Jerry DiNardo.
There's some cats out there.
Rick Neuheisel. There's a lot of guys who are just mediocre coaches, but you throw them on TV, man, they get it. They can go out there and do it. And they're all right.
Yeah, I agree.
So you don't have to. Dick Vermeil before he went back, man. Dick Vermeil took the Eagles to a Super Bowl, had a great TV career, went back with the Rams in a win Super Bowl. He was really good for a whole lot of years.
Yeah. It's filled with them, like you said.
So the industry is filled with people, and you know what? Jason Garrett is going to write it down. Jason Garrett is going to parlay this into his next coaching job.
You think he's going to get him back to football?
What, dude?
I don't know. We'll see.
This is the play now as a former coach.
Get your name out there in the media world, and then next thing you know, your name's called up.
And so then you're now visiting teams. You're talking to owners. You're talking to general managers, and they see it. And it's Rick Carlisle. When Rick Carlisle got let go by the Pistons, the guy went to ESPN. Next thing you know, when he got hired by the Mavericks, ended up winning championship. Avery Johnson did it, and he got himself back in the booth. John Makovic did it. Urban Meyer, man, he went and did TV. Next thing you know, they go hire a man, go do Jackson.
Now he's back to TV.
Now he's back to TV. But we see this happen a lot where guys are sitting up in the booth for a minute, and next thing you know, that stuff plays, and they're able to go get another job. So I'm just telling you right now.
Give my boy Mark Jackson another shot, man. He deserves it, man.
Not everybody, you know.
You know how that goes, though.
Exactly. Barry Church, Newey Scruggs. This has been the Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos, right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!